Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Jonathan Voico.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett.
How's it going, everybody?
And most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thanks so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or issue you'd like us to discuss, as long as we deem it appropriate to be discussed on our show, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, we will address your question right here on our show. And here's the good news about the tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to this show a little bit later on our podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day when we're not live, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on your next episode. All right, guys. With that all down, let's get things started off here with this on a bit of a sad note. Iconic and legendary Canadian actor Graham Greene has reportedly passed away at the age of 73. He, of course, was made most famous for his role in Dances with Wolves, in which he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. And he's just like a legendary dude. The folks over at Deadline wrote the following. Greene was born on June 22nd, 1952 in Ohsweken on the Six Nation Reserves. He worked odd jobs before giving acting a go. Greene starred on stage, and by the 1970s, he's performing in Canadian and English professional theater productions. He made his screen debut in 1979 in an episode of the Canadian drama series The Great Detective. His first movie was the 1983 Running Brave. Greene's big breakthrough, as we all know, came several years later when Kevin Costner cast him as Kicking Bird, one of the main characters in his 1990 Western Dances with Wolves. The film landed 12 Academy Award nominations, including one for Greene as Best Supporting Actor, and won 7, including Best Picture. Dances with Wolves launched Greene's Hollywood career. He went on to appear in such high-profile features as Maverick with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster, Die Hard with a Vengeance with Bruce Willis, The Green Mile with Tom Hanks, The Twilight Saga with Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, as well as Aaron Sorkin's Molly's Game with Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, and Costner. By the way, he was just also in like Reservation Dogs.
Yeah.
He just did, he had a great appearance in The Last of Us series. He's just a guy that literally would pop up everywhere. He would just pop up everywhere. And every time he would pop up and appear on screen, he would elevate the production. It suddenly felt like a prestige thing when he was there. By the way, for Canadian fans, of course, he was also on many, many, many episodes of The Red Green Show. Only Canadians will really get The Red Green Show, but it's fantastic. And he was just working. He's got a movie with Joel Kinnaman coming out. And he was like, they said in the article, like he was literally working right up to his last day. So, I mean, a terrible, tragic loss. He was truly an icon, especially for Canadian actors and stuff like that. Anyway, Rob, you heard about the passing of Graham Greene. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a big fan. I mean, I always thought of him as a character actor, and I love character actors. And when I say that, that's not a slight at all, but you know, he was so great in Dances with Wolves, a movie that I love. But I loved seeing him. I remember seeing in '95, seeing Die Hard with a Vengeance for the first time. And,
Yeah.
you know, he's just a New York cop.
Right.
You know, and him and that chick in the back, like getting McClane up, who's all hammered, you know, and it's just, he was great in that. And it was, you know, I always thought that, like you said, he had a certain, because that he was an indigenous person and all that, he had a great, I loved his look.
Yeah.
You know, I just like when you put, and that's what I think like great character actors do. They add that flavor and that spice to a cast. And he was just a great actor. I mean, he could do comedy.
Yes, he could.
He could do comedy. He could do seriousness. He could, if he needed to play the sage like he did in Dances with Wolves. But in Dances with Wolves, he's also pretty funny, you know, and that shows his comedic chops. And he had just this great. He just had a great presence, and I loved seeing him show up in things.
You know what? It was just his part. This one really stood out to me. I don't know why, but whenever I think of him, I also think of his part in his performance in Wind River.
Oh
that he
yeah,
did with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
like that was pretty awesome too. I mean, every time
Taylor Sheridan knew what's up.
You know what? He has this voice where, if he wants to, just by talking in regular sentences to you, he can make you sound and feel like a dumbass.
Yeah.
He had that great, almost like a little sarcasm tone in his voice too. Yeah, man. I was shocked when I read this and really saddened to hear it, especially as a Canadian performer. He's iconic. Anyway, guys, Graham Greene passes away at the age of 73. When you think of him and his, I think, well over 100 credits on IMDb and stuff like that, what performance of his, aside from obviously Dances with Wolves, stands out to you the most? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, a word kind of came out a week or two ago that there could be a significant Disney trailer dropping on September 3rd, which is, of course, tomorrow. Doubling down on that, as you can see here, you know, Twitter scooper Daniel RPK, who often has a lot of things right, sometimes gets things wrong, but whatever. He put out, doubling down on this, new Disney trailer dropping on September 3rd. Now, Disney can mean a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It can mean Disney Pictures proper. It can mean Disney Animation. Could mean Pixar. Could mean Marvel. Could mean Lucasfilm. Could mean a lot of different things. Could mean Fox. Could mean a lot of different things. And they're talking about a trailer. And again, this is something we heard about too about a week or two ago as well, that some kind of significant trailer is dropping tomorrow. So I thought we would take a second and look at what are the possibilities? What are our options here of what could be dropping as a Disney trailer tomorrow?
I feel like we're handicappers. We're going to pick the odds.
Here we are.
Pick the odds.
All right. The first thing is probably like one of the biggest films they've got coming out, obviously, is Avatar. Right? So a new Avatar trailer. We are actually now not that far away from Avatar coming out. With it now being September, it's coming. It's coming in just a few months.
She has no dominion here.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
Dude, they show that in front of Jaws.
The smoothness of her voice, and that is so
Man,
good.
I can't wait to see those Mordor Na'vi. I can't wait.
I mean, this is a big, major project. We've only had the one trailer for it so far. We might be kind of in a time where maybe a second trailer dropping might be an appropriate time for that. So Avatar is one of those chances. Next is one that's coming up very soon. Like in 5 weeks, Tron Ares. Right now, really, they only had the one big trailer for it, which, listen, as somebody who is honestly not a fan of that last Tron movie, just being honest, I wasn't a fan. I was excited about it. The music in it is awesome. But I wasn't a big fan of it. This trailer got me stoked.
It's, yeah.
And I think it might be time for another big trailer for it to drop, especially with it just being like 5 weeks away, Rob.
And mid-September is a big, Disney announced they're releasing Tron and Tron Legacy in 4K. And they're dropping Trent Reznor's, 9 Inch Nails soundtrack in mid-September. So mid-September is kind of like Tron week.
Yep.
So
that's Tron is the other one. Another one. Again, we've had one trailer for it so far. I could be poised right now for the next one, is Zootopia 2. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the next one, and by the way, Ke Kwan is the snake. I am absolutely kind of giddy about seeing this. Now listen, I'm like everybody else. I liked Zootopia. I did. I mean, I actually quite liked it.
I did too.
I didn't lose my mind bonkers about it about a lot. I talked to a lot of people who were like, oh my God, Zootopia was so amazing. And I liked it. It's a thumbs up for me, but I got to tell you, I am pretty excited about this second one. We're going to see where they go with it. All right, another option. It's a little further away, but we're about 6 months out. Wait, October, November, December, January, February, March. Well, more like 8 months out. But every once in a while, Disney doesn't mind dropping a teaser trailer for something pretty far in advance. Mandalorian coming out on May 22nd. We've known they have, the film is done shooting. They actually had footage to show. What was it? It wasn't CinemaCon. It might have been
Star Wars Celebration.
Star Wars Celebration last year. They had footage that they showed of it. They also just released some more images and stuff like that for it. It could be our first true Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that gets dropped. All right, next up is one that is pretty damn far away, but they are well into shooting it, and they may want to spend a year plus hyping up the marketing machine for it. I'm not saying that's the right move, but it may be something they want to do. Avengers Doomsday. Now, the big argument against it being an Avengers Doomsday thing is that they literally just had D23, and you would think if you had an Avengers Doomsday teaser or trailer ready to go, you would think they would have shown it at D23. But D23 is useless, so maybe not. Maybe they just decide to give everybody a bunch of little treats at D23, and then a week later show Avengers Doomsday. So again, I wouldn't put my money on Avengers Doomsday, but it's possible. Next one I want to suggest is the Pixar film Hoppers. Might be time for a new trailer. It wasn't that long ago that we got our first look, and the movie doesn't come out till March. It's still a little ways off. This actually look, I never had a lot of faith in Elio, other than it was coming from Pixar, but I never thought Elio looked all that great. The movie was okay. It wasn't bad, but it did not live up to Pixar standards. This, I gotta say, actually looks a lot better.
I kind of really relate to that dude on the right. He reminds me, I think I walk through life in a perpetual state of that dude on the right.
That's just me.
It's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Man, they should have you voice him.
Hey.
So there's, again, I don't think it'll be another Hoppers one just because but that is one of the possibilities. Somebody in the live chat brought up one as well that I don't have on my list, but it should be Wonder Man. If we want to jump from the movie screen to the TV screen, I got to admit, none of the whispers I heard, nor the RPK tweet specified it would be a trailer for a movie. And they finished shooting Wonder Man ages ago. So maybe it could be a Wonder Man. Some people in the live chat are being really optimistic, saying a Starfighter teaser.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
They went into the future. They got the footage and they got it.
Well, they are shooting the movie. We know they're shooting the movie. So, and remember.
It could be the only thing you get away with is like a weird teaser, right? Like
yeah, because remember, James Gunn.
The back of him walking to the Starfighter or whatever.
Yeah. But James Gunn had literally only been shooting the first Guardians of the Galaxy film for 6.5 days.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
And then they put together a little teaser trailer, the classic teaser trailer to bring to Comic-Con. So, it's not completely outside of the realm of possibility, but that movie is so far away, I don't see a lot of meaning for it. So, look, I'm going to say this. Out of the main things with Avatar, Tron, Zootopia, Mandalorian, Avengers, Doomsday, and Hoppers, I'm going to put my bet on Avatar being the new trailer dropping tomorrow.
It feels right.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I think a Tron Ares trailer, I won't be surprised at all. I won't even be shocked for a Mandalorian trailer dropping. But I'm going to go with Avatar being the trailer. Anyway, Rob, out of all the possibilities we've listed off here, and maybe you can think of one or two other possibilities I haven't listed, what do you think is going to be this trailer we get from Disney tomorrow?
Well, first of all, if it's Daniel RPK, what is he most interested in? I don't know. Look, I think you're probably right because the obvious choice would be Avatar. It's their biggest movie. It's coming out Christmas. It's coming out for the end of the year. We've only seen the one trailer, even though in front of Jaws, I got to see the Project Hail Mary trailer again and see the Avatar trailer. And I'm like, I'm ready. That Avatar trailer on the big screen is a banger. It's better than watching it on.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can see, give me those Mordor or Na'vi, man. I can't wait. I'm really excited about that. I don't know why. But
we also need a story trailer from them.
Because it kind of looks, it doesn't look a whole lot different than Way of Water.
Right.
How is Fire and Ash different than Way? I know how it's different. You've got devil worshipping Na'vi. I love it. They don't know, but I don't care. So it's probably that. But because of because of Daniel RPK being cheeky and going trailer dropping tomorrow, it seems to me, I don't know that he would, because it's obvious that we're going to get a Avatar trailer, and it's obvious we'd get maybe a new trailer for Tron Ares because the movies are coming out. But by him mentioning it, I would think that it's something we weren't expecting, that it's going to be something that might surprise us. And in that sense, I mean, Zootopia, I think there's going to be, and I think it makes sense that Marvel would drop a snippet or something from Doomsday, because it's been shooting for months. And I know we're over a year out, but just something.
I mean, they've got all those chairs just hanging around.
They got all the chairs.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the second half of the chair thing. It could be, and if they do that, they'll end it with footage. You know, they'll end it with some kind of.
It better have some footage,
because they've been shooting for months. You know, and they've been getting a little bit of bad press. You know, all that ridiculousness of first it was Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr., which was totally debunked, and then it was this thing and that thing, and so if they were to drop even a snippet of something, you know, if it's a 90-second teaser trailer, or it's like a teaser that has nothing to do, it doesn't even have footage of the movie, it just has like two characters talking or something. Like, I don't know what it is.
Just going to be Doom eating shawarma.
But whatever it is, all they would have to do, if you wanted to make a splash, and we're not doing anything right now, you know, what could we do to stir the pot?
Again, I agree with everything you're saying. The one thing that holds me off from thinking that could actually be a possibility,
I don't think it is.
It's just the fact that you would think if they had something like that, they would have shown it to the people at D23.
Right. Unless there was a reason they didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to look at pictures from the Mandalorian trailer got out. You know, so
by the way, some people are saying another film that I totally forgot about. I don't think it'll be this one, but Predator Badlands.
But that's coming soon too.
Yeah, I don't know that would be a big thing to count down to another Predator Badlands.
Or if it's like a compilation trailer. You know, Disney's 2025 schedule. They show us Badlands, Avatar, Tron, Ares.
Kind of like the way Hulu puts together a sizzle of the things.
Yeah,
Netflix
I mean that makes sense because they have huge genre movies.
I mean, that would make sense why everybody's just been calling it a Disney trailer.
Right.
What if it's this like sizzle of an amalgamation of like 9 projects they've got coming? It's like coming from Disney over the next 18 months.
That's quite the lineup.
Another thing that should have been showcased at D23 though, if you're going to do a montage.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if they forgot? They literally were like, we didn't run that one spot.
Unless they really wanted to make a big splash online, like get all the press from D23 and then keep the momentum going with a September 3rd drop. I don't know. And by the way, Daniel RPK may be wrong. We may be getting nothing tomorrow. I mean, there's that too. But again, I've heard these whispers as well, so I kind of believe he's right.
Well, this week? What's opening this week? Is there any movie opening that they're? Oh,
I know there is one opening.
I know The Long Walk's next week.
That's next week. I know because I'm going to watch it with you guys in Denver. I believe we're going to go at our movie meetup. Do we got anything there, Jonathan, about what's opening up this week?
It's kind of quiet this week, honestly. That's why I was like kind of excited to catch the Roses and stuff this weekend because
the Roses is so good
because it's not competing with the Threesome is coming out this weekend.
The Threesome is opening.
That
this
was
week.
the mystery movie last night.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, because I did get my contact on the East Coast sent that to me and said it wasn't very good.
Wait a second. Does The Conjuring open this week?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the big one opening, and I'll go see it.
But it's not big for me, so that's why I'm going to catch up.
I want to see the Threesome. Like that. This just looks.
I always want to see the Threesome,
but it looks so charming. The trailer was so good and looked so funny and sexy and charming, and it's got like all of that.
I like Zoe Deutsch a lot. She's great.
She's great. Like I even showed it. Like I remember I told Anne, I was like, I got to show you this trailer. There's this movie called The Threesome, and of course she rolled her eyes. And I played it for her. She's like, we gotta go see this movie. I'm like, right? Like it looks really good. So I'm so bummed out that was the Monday Mystery movie. Crap.
Don't shoot the messenger, buddy.
Have you heard anything?
No, he just wrote back and said it was only okay.
Well, I'm going to trust that friend of yours is a fool.
No, he's
Cool.
not.
I
He
don't know.
knew, he knew.
I hope to like
He
it.
liked Acolyte, didn't he?
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think this Disney Studios trailer could be tomorrow? Like one of the big obvious ones, an Avatar, maybe a Tron Ares, or do you think it could be a really early sneak peek at something Mandalorian, Doomsday? I mean, I don't know. Maybe something else. Maybe TV. Maybe it's Wonder Man. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to go on and play us a little round of what's more likely. Every once in a while, we jump on the community tab, the post tab on our YouTube channel. We ask you, our viewers and subscribers, if you guys have a what's more likely scenario for us. We gather a bunch of them together and we address them. Jonathan's got them right now. So Jonathan, let's get things started.
All right. Starting off with Rob, what is more likely from Aiden? Tron Ares making 500 million globally, or The Mandalorian and Grogu making 500 million globally?
Look, as much as I would love to see Tron Ares make $500 million globally, I'm going to go with Mandalorian and Grogu because it's Star Wars. And Tron, both Tron, as much as I love the first Tron and Tron Legacy, have never exactly been giant hits. So I'm going with the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, I got to go with it as well. I think it's more likely that Mandalorian and Grogu does. I think 500 is its ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't see Mandalorian and Grogu doing much better than that. But the reality is, like Tron Legacy, this is back when there was a lot of heat behind it, a lot of enthusiasm behind it. Tron Legacy only barely managed to scratch 400. And it doesn't have the same heat and the same push and everything that did. So, I mean, could Tron Ares get to 500? If it's a banger and knocks it out of the park, it could get to 500. I just think it's more likely that Mandalorian and Grogu does. All right, what's next?
All right, John, moving on to you. What's more likely? We got, that's not the right one. This one from Porter Clancy. What's more likely, The Smashing Machine or Marty Supreme makes more at the box office? Safety v. Safety?
The Smashing Machine. I think for a couple of reasons. One, look, for whatever adjustments the career of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has gone through over the past year and a half or so, he's still Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So there will be a certain degree of a draw just because of that. Two, mixed martial arts is still the fastest growing sport in the world. And it's big, and for whatever reasons and whatever. So there's that. Three, there's Oscar buzz for this movie already, and not just for the movie as a whole, but like Variety listed Dwayne Johnson as their number 2 favorite to win Best Actor at the Academy Awards.
Did you watch that little clip I sent you from Instagram?
I did not see it.
Oh, so it at the Venice Film Festival, there was a big round of applause for the
Like a
Smashing Machine.
15-minute standing ovation for
Yeah,
it.
and somebody in the audience said and screamed this out, and the camera was on The Rock when they said this. Somebody said, "The Rock is cooking," and he just smiled, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I was like, that was nice.
I gotta tell you though, like everything about Marty Supreme, I love the trailer. And you know what I think of Timothée Chalamet. I think he's the next Daniel Day-Lewis. He's great, but as far as what is going to generate, so it's not a question about which is going to be the better movie, but if the question is what's going to get more people out to it,
Yeah.
I think for those big reasons, I think it's going to be the Smashing Machine. So I think that's more likely, Rob.
I agree with you. I think the Smashing Machine is going to get more people out, but I got to tell you, I love the trailer for Marty Supreme. And, again,
It's great.
Both of them are biopics. I mean, Marty Supreme's about table tennis, ping pong, and I was like, this movie looks really good. So I think what an interesting, the Safties and what an interesting time. I mean, I think both movies look pretty great.
Oh,
but,
I'm excited for both of them.
yeah,
100%.
but I do think that only because more people are going to know, about the Smashing Machine and people look.
Just so much curiosity too amongst like his role in this performance.
Yeah,
too.
and he really did transform.
Oh, 100, like I mean, and that's an Academy Award for the makeup people.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it looks really good, and
Yeah.
I love to see that. I love that he went to Venice, in a beautiful tailored suit, and I love that. Just you don't expect a Venice audience, to scream that out, and that told me, okay, The Rock is not just an American figure. You know, even internationally, he's well known. And I think people want it to succeed.
All right. What's next?
All right, we're going to jump back over to you, Rob. What's more likely from Dylan Johnson, Godzilla X Kong Supernova or the Passion of the Christ sequel movie moving away from each other, or both sticking to the same March 26, 2077? I say let them fight.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, if you're talking, I mean, you've just got different gods being released on the same day. It's all good. I also don't see one taking business away from the other. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the new Barbenheimer. I mean, you know, and is Resurrection going to be split into two movies?
Yes, it is.
So it's for sure going to be split into two movies. I mean, you know, I would love to go. By the way, Passion of the Christ is a really good movie. It's hard to watch.
It is a good movie.
And I mean, Mel Gibson making another film that he's incredibly passionate about himself. I mean, the guy is a master filmmaker. I mean, look at his movies like Apocalypto.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Incredible.
It is all fair for anybody to have whatever opinion of the man that they want to have. I don't begrudge anybody for maybe having strong opinions about the man. That being said, he's an incredible director. I mean, it doesn't matter what you think of him away from the screen. You can't deny the dude is a ridiculously talented director. He really is.
And he learned from Richard Donner, you know, but I will say this. If Godzilla X Kong Supernova does have the controller and it does have aliens for Planet X, that movie's going to wipe the floor with Resurrection. Let me just tell you, because no one can deny the power of the controller and the aliens from Planet X. And the movie has to be called Supernova for some reason.
Yeah, I'm going to say that it is much more likely that they keep the dates.
Yeah, I mean, so too.
Again, to your point, Rob, these ain't the same audiences.
No.
I really don't think. Now, neither will this be a new Barbenheimer, Gzilla. It's not going to be... Sorry, I almost made Rob spit out. Sorry. You're right.
Gzilla.
So I mean, I don't think it's the next.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but boy, that's funny to me.
I don't. So I don't necessarily think the two movies are going to help each other, but they are drawing on radically different audiences. So I don't see. Let's put it this way: if one moves, it's going to be because of something else. They will definitely not move because of each other. So I think it's more likely that they keep the same date.
I hope so, because I want Gzilla to be real.
Got to get some T-shirts made. All right. What's next?
All right. John, we're going to move on to, I got to make sure I got the right one. John, what's more likely? The Watcher says Matt Reeves using Mr. Freeze first in the Batman 2 or 3, or Gunn using him in the DCU?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, look, first of all, it should be noted that nothing says they can't both use Mr. Freeze, because I have a feeling if they do both use Mr. Freeze, I think there would be radically different manifestations of Mr. Freeze. That being said, I think Mr. Freeze, we've talked about this for a long time, Rob. Mr. Freeze is a character that would fit with the right little tweaking very well in the Matt Reeves universe. Like you put a little bit more science-based stuff into who and what he is. You remove a little bit more of the sci-fi element from what he is. And he would fit very nicely, I think, into a Matt Reeves, the Batman universe. And so, and honestly, because of the nature of Matt Reeves' Batman universe, he's a little bit more limited on the characters that he could draw on than, say, James Gunn can. And I think if for no other reason than that, I think it would be more likely that Mr. Freeze pops up in a Batman 2 or 3. I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
I think you could be right about that. I mean, the idea about Mr. Freeze, I could see it being a nickname because he's obsessed with cryonics or something, like he's frozen his dead wife because he thinks he can bring her back, and make it realistic. He's not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's going to be somebody.
Everybody chill.
It's going to be something that's much more credible. But on the other hand, James Gunn could lean into a character like that, but I do think maybe and it's weird because we're getting a Clayface, and that's gonna be very telling to see how they do that. But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Matt Reeves' universe.
All right. Okay. Last
Not as
one.
good
What's
as-
next?
All right. So I think we're on to Rob. So who's still dying over there?
I'm still dying.
What's more likely, Rob? Hank Dunn Studios asks, 2026 is not 5 billion, but five $1 billion movies or less.
It's hard to say. I mean, $5 billion movies.
Well,
That's a tough order.
Let's take a second then. Let's take a look then at. I mean, first of all, it's a great question. And it's a great line.
Yeah.
What are the potentials for $1 billion film in 2026? Obviously, we have The Odyssey, right? The Odyssey is a potential $1 billion film. We all agree. But I mean, if Oppenheimer can make north of 900 million, add Fantasy Sword and Sandal to that. I mean, so The Odyssey's got to be one of the contenders. Avengers Doomsday is, I'll say it, Avengers Doomsday is an automatic.
Yeah.
That's just a pure automatic that the Avengers Doomsday will.
There's no reason every Avengers movie's grossed over $1 billion.
Mario Brothers, the next Mario Brothers movie is coming in 2026. Again, I'm going to call it potential, but the last one made 1.3 billion.
Yep.
So it may not make $1 billion, but that's one of the potentials. Obviously, Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
The last one made $1.9 billion. So you got to say that Spider-Man's got a chance of being $1 billion. The Michael movie, at least part one, I think clearly has a shot at being $1 billion. Now we get into some maybes, depending on how they're received. The live action version of Moana, speaking of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? Obviously the first one has been the #1 streamed movie in the world for like 3 or 4 years in a row. The sequel just made, I believe, the sequel made $1 billion, did it not? I believe the sequel, Moana 2, just made $1 billion.
Look that up.
So I don't know that Moana, the live action will.
No, but it's the potential's
but the
there.
potential's there. Then
Yeah, it did cross $1 billion.
it did cross $1 billion. Then you got Toy Story 5. The last couple of those made over $1 billion. I don't know necessarily that I put money on this one making over $1 billion, but you got to say it's a potential. Minions 3. I mean, Minions has had a track record of making $1 billion films, so that's got to be potential. And while I absolutely do not think this one will, if the stars align right, you never know. The Mandalorian and Grogu. I mean, I think 500 million is a more accurate target for that. But if all the stars align, and if Jon Favreau delivers the movie of his lifetime, and you never know. I mean, so that one too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 potentials.
Yeah, and then there's other things. Unknown quantities. Spielberg's never made $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
And he's got a movie coming out.
Who knows when
Project Hail Mary could catch fire. I hope it does. I don't think it's going to make $1 billion, but it could. I'm going to go, yeah. I think there are going to be $5 billion movies in 2016.
Yeah, so I'll
2016,
say
2026.
Odyssey.
What year are we in?
We're in 2025 now. I'll say Odyssey will, Avengers Doomsday will, Spider-Man Brand New Day will. I'm banking that Michael will. So that's 4. I don't know about Mario Brothers. I don't know about Moana. I'm not sure about Toy Story. I'm not sure
But the
about
potential is there.
But all I need is one. Okay, so if I'm thinking Odyssey will, and Avengers will, and Spider-Man will, and Michael will, that means I'd only need one of Mario Brothers, Moana, Toy Story 5, Minions, or Mandalorian. Just one of those 5 to cross that line too. All right. I'll say it's more likely that 5 films do hit the $1 billion mark next
We got
year.
to set up like a fantasy box office game.
They used to
Yeah.
have that.
Oh, yeah?
Box.
Yeah,
It was
actually, one of our longtime viewers, Fanjecture, literally had a game called Fanjecture, which was really cool.
But there was that stock, the title.
Yeah,
What was that called?
That was doing box office like the stock market.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I used to do that a lot, and then I just stopped doing it one
I
day.
can't remember the name of that
Is
one.
it still there?
I don't know. I can't even remember the name of it. So I'll go with it's more likely that we will get 5. Rob?
For sure. I'm going with that. We're gonna get 5 for sure.
All right, guys. What do you think? You think we're going to get 5 out of those? Maybe you don't think out of that list 5 of them can cross that line. Hey, you never know. I mean, fewer people are going to the movies today than they were 6-7 years ago. So you never know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, there is a brand new movie coming out. By the way, there was a topic I skipped earlier, so go back to that one now. There's a little movie coming out, the third of a trilogy, called Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. And, you know, the first Knives Out movie did quite well at the box office for
It was
what
like
it was.
350 million or something.
And then Netflix bought the rights to the next two. And they put out the first one, the first of the new two, the Glass Onion, which I loved Glass Onion. They literally dropped it in a couple of theaters for a couple of days. Thing made $13 million on this little experiment they did. Pulled in $13 million. Well, apparently, with their little experiment that they just had with K-pop Demon Hunters that was #1 at the box office, they have decided, it's now official, that the third Knives Out film, this is according to Variety, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, will set a 2-week theatrical run before it drops on Netflix. They write the following. Netflix has set a 2-week theatrical window for its highly anticipated ensemble sequel, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Wake Up Dead Man will release in select theaters on November 26th for a 2-week run until it comes to Netflix on December 12th. Directed and co-produced by Rian Johnson, who has just killed it with this franchise so far. The third Knives Out entry boasts an all-star cast of Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormick, and Thomas Hayden Church, who I love. Thomas Hayden Church. He's not in enough stuff. All right. I'm not surprised. This is a great move by Netflix. And it is a great move for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is all free money. This is all free money. Every dollar this movie makes at the box office is absolutely putting on my winter coat for the first time in 6 months, putting my hands in the pockets and discovering a $100 bill. That's something we call around here secret money. When you find money you forgot you had. See, it's all secret money. Because if they were just going to put this up on Netflix, no secret money. Put this in theater, every single dollar it makes is pure, unadulterated cash profit. And it's going to make tens of millions of dollars, even in a short, minor, limited release. It's going to make them money. Here's the second big bonus, and this to me is the biggest advantage for a streamer. When they do drop this movie now on Netflix on December 12th, it is now going to get a far larger audience than it would have if they just dropped it on Netflix on December 12th without first having a theatrical run. Guys, that proposition is no longer up for debate. It's not an opinion anymore. It's fact. It has been proven with data over and over and over again. When these films get a theatrical push first, then their debuts on streaming ends up being a lot bigger than what they were projected to be otherwise. So if you're Netflix, this is a win-win. They get some theatrical exposure. They're going to get big buzz out there. They're going to make extra money from people going to go see it. Free money, by the way, from people. Even after theaters keep a cut, it's free money they're getting. And now, when it does arrive on Netflix, it's going to be a much bigger splash on streaming than it would have otherwise. The only thing about this that is keeping it from being a genius move instead of a very good move is that a genius move would have been to give it a 2-month theatrical run.
Yeah. Or a 45-day window.
Or 45 days, month and a half. I mean, it's a good move for the reasons I explained, but it's not a genius move. The genius move would have been to give it a full 45-day theatrical, then bring it to Netflix, then its splash on Netflix would have been even bigger. But still, Rob, overall, in the world of is this the right decision or the wrong decision, I think this is a good decision on their part What do you think?
I think it's a great decision. I mean, what Glass Onion, they went to like 700 theaters and they didn't really, it was kind
For
of
a few
middling.
days, yeah.
I mean, if they're going for 2 weeks and they go all in and they have a great ad campaign, they dropped the poster this morning. I thought the poster was really cool. You know, it was neat. I loved how it's Orion Johnson whodunit.
Yeah.
You know, I love everything like you. I mean, I really like Glass Onion. I really love Knives Out. And this is, I love this franchise. This has a great cast, like Glass Onion did, like Knives Out did. And these movies, I love Benoit Blanc. I mean, I think Daniel Craig is great in the role.
Such a great
This
character.
is his third. I mean, he's got another franchise after Bond, which is really cool that belongs to him. And I love this. And remember, it was crazy to me that they spent $450 million to get the rights to these movies. If they had put Knives Out in the theater with a big ad campaign, they could have made $500 million. They could have made all their money back. A Glass Onion, pardon me. Yeah, they could have made a Glass Onion. And with this, it deserves this is a theatrical franchise that Netflix curtailed. Netflix bought the rights to a $350 million mystery, adult mystery franchise that made $350 million worldwide. That's a win. And then they got rid of, they torpedoed that. Look, I hope after F1 made $600 million for Apple, teaming up with Warner Brothers, that we see more of these streaming movies, especially auteurist franchise pictures made by people like Rian Johnson, to make money in the theaters. It's good for the theaters, it's good for the filmmakers, and it's good for Netflix.
And it's good for the business.
And good
it's
for
just
business.
good for the whole industry.
Yeah, and Netflix can show that we can have a financially viable movie. Wouldn't it be better if you paid for the production of your movies through a theatrical release? So you're at a zero sum when it's on your platform instead of just blowing $300 million on an electric state?
You know, I told you this before. Netflix keeps doing these little experiments and they keep getting the answers they don't want.
Right.
They want to do these little experiments and go, see, putting in theaters does nothing for us. But every time they've done it, it's like it completely counters their base philosophy.
And they need to go all in.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to go all in and see. They're just dabbling in it, and they're trying to dabble in a way that they get the audience response that they want. But look, K-pop Demon Hunters didn't even get a Friday. It only got Saturday and Sunday. Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. They left so much money on the table. It's nuts. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, listen, I applaud Netflix for making going at least this far. They're going to give a 2-week theatrical run to the new Knives Out film, Wake Up Dead Man, which I think is a good thing because not only is it going to be good for them to make some money, but it's also going to be good for when they do put it on Netflix. It's going to have a much bigger impact now than it would have otherwise. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? According to the Hollywood Reporter, this is news I know a lot of my friends have been waiting for a long time. Call of Duty, it's now official, is getting a full theatrical movie treatment coming to theaters as Paramount and Activision have struck a major film deal. Now listen, we for decades lived in an era of the 3 great truths: death, taxes, and video game adaptations suck. Those are just 3 unavoidable rules of life, right? There is no getting around it. But in recent couple of years, Rob, that narrative's been changing. You can even throw in Sonic with that, which I think those movies have been delightful. The Sonic films. The Last of Us, like getting the highest television honors with nominations of best series and all types of awards.
Look, we got Twisted Metal on TV.
Twisted Metal is quite good. I mean, I've only watched a little bit of it, but everybody I know who watched it has really enjoyed it. Fallout was great. Got nominated for best series as well. What else has there been recently? Anyway, we got the greatest showrunner, in my opinion, of all time. Ronald D. Moore is delivering us a God of War series that's coming. It's not that put out a video game adaptation now and is guaranteed to be good. Not at all. But the basic rule, the unbreakable rule of the universe that all video game adaptations suck, that's not true anymore. It's not true. And so now you've got these studios who are far more interested. Now, we've heard for a while that they've been trying to get a Call of Duty thing put together. Certain producers are brought on, screenwriters, and all this kind of stuff. But this is the first major significant thing with Paramount, who have been making big moves lately. $7.5 billion to get the UFC rights. They just got the brothers who did Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers. They just signed the Duffer Brothers away from Netflix for this big exclusive 4-year deal, all this kind of stuff. And now they've announced they're doing Call of Duty. The Hollywood Reporter article says the following. In a move that Paramount CEO David Ellison calls a dream come true, the Call of Duty video game franchise will become a big screen movie franchise thanks to a major deal between the entertainment studio and Activision. Activision and Paramount have inked a deal that will see the studio develop, produce, and distribute a live-action film based on the game franchise, quote-unquote, designed to thrill its massive global fan base by delivering on the hallmarks of what fans love about the iconic series while boldly expanding on the franchise to entirely new audiences, the company said Tuesday morning. I'll just go on a little bit more here. The deal is a big one, with Call of Duty among the most popular video game franchises in the world. 500 million copies of its various games have been sold over the years, with the series being the top-selling game franchise in the U.S. for the past 16 years. The series is a first-person shooter spanning various things, going across different stuff like that. All right. Listen, I've got to say, Skydance was not my first choice to take over Paramount. All right? I'm admitting that. But I also have to admit that since taking over Paramount, they have made some pretty baller moves. They have taken big swings. And again, we're not going to see the impact of them for a year or two, but at least now in these early developmental days, they are not messing around, right? They have sent out a message to the entire industry. We're dead serious and we're going to make big moves. And they have, and they've committed a lot of money to a lot of things. And them now going so hardcore, which, by the way, the CEO of Paramount talking about the unspeakable number of hours that he has played Call of Duty games. So he's like, to him, he said, this is very personal to me. This is very special to me. By the way, if I bring it up, I mean, just look at this. Okay, I'm sorry. This guy has walking dumb face. He just clearly does. I'll never be sponsored by anything from Paramount. This is the CEO of Paramount. He's just got walking dumb face. That is clearly a guy who's played a lot of Call of Duty. I'm just saying, him and a bunch of my friends, but he is clearly...
I feel like he repeats the phrase, wouldn't it be cool?
A lot.
There's nothing. No, wouldn't it be cool if is a good phrase, because it's wouldn't it be cool if we bought Call of Duty and turned it into a film franchise?
That is the face. That's the face of the guy who would say something like that. And you know what? God bless him, because he's making it happen. And
by all accounts, David Ellison's a very nice guy.
By the way, somebody in the live chat asking, "Where is eyebrows?" I mean, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, listen, we're sitting here face shaming the guy. Look. All of that is to say that this
Look at those beautiful blue eyes.
This
green,
dude
hazel, blue.
has not messed around since he got in charge. Since he took over Paramount, he has been making some baller moves, man. And this is just the newest one. And now, look, maybe this becomes a disaster. Maybe it doesn't work out.
Ginger cool.
Ginger cool. But as of right now, all we have to evaluate are these initial moves. And he's not sitting around being passive. He's not doing the, let's see how the industry shakes out over the next 6 months. And then, you know what? He said prior to closing the deal, we're going to dive in head first. And fuck it. They've dove in head first, man. And I got to respect, I tip my hat. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't, but he's taking big swings. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this. Big deal, not a big deal. What do you think?
No, I think it's a big deal because this, by definition, this is not a small movie to make. And the real question is, are they going to go for a World War II era Call of Duty? I would imagine, if I were a guessing man, that they're going to go more modern warfare. And they would
I agree.
Tend to get a global. And, I look at something like this. I could see Chris McQuarrie coming on board to direct something like this because it's Paramount. They've got the Mission Impossible franchise, which I can't imagine they're going to do another one. So, who do you have? You've got McQuarrie's a great action director. He's been where he worked on Top Gun. He worked on the Mission Impossible movies. They've got a guy like if they put him as the helm at the helm of this and have him write. Well, after the last two Mission Impossibles, maybe he could work with somebody to write it. But I mean, if you look at something like this is a great franchise. And those modern warfare games are so good. And what you need is I think the key to this, like I don't remember, it's not like Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. I don't remember the characters. I mean, I don't think.
Well, they changed them all.
Yeah, in every game.
The games.
So they're going to have to come up. The key to making this is you've got to come up with a great. And what could be great is look. I love men or women on mission movies, like The Dirty Dozen. That's what this is. That you have to create a core team of people and make it realistic. Not like G.I. Joe, which leaned heavily into CG, which means it didn't work as well. But you make this about a slightly heightened world where they're megalomaniac terrorists or whatever, whoever you're going after, and it's a multi-ethnic, country mission force or something to go kick some ass.
That's what like Modern Warfare 1 basically
you know what
was.
that is.
And Modern Warfare 2 continued that story, and then it did different stories.
What you're describing, Rob, is Megaforce.
Ooh.
Just saying, what you just described was what not. You just described Megaforce. Come on.
I just have to have flying motorcycles and dune buggies with rockets. Because you know what? The good guys win, even in the 2020s.
Life is a wheel, Rob. It all comes around. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, I've said my piece. Dude, I'm still on Gzilla, man.
I could tell.
I want a shirt. I want great artwork. No, but I think what Skydance is doing, as you know, for me, I'm really interested to see where they're taking the Star Trek franchise. I'm not a fan of that Star Trek The Beginning script that they've developed. I'd rather see them go back to the Star Trek The Beginning script that Eric Jedrinson wrote. And again, Eric Jedrinson, who co-wrote the Mission Impossible movies with Chris McQuarrie, I think they should go back and make that movie together. But we'll see what they do with Star Trek. But all these big moves are great. And they're doing big moves. The fact that David Ellison is passionate about this franchise, it means he's going to give it the attention that it needs to have. And you're now looking at Fallout and The Last of Us as being, these are two good things to be looking at. You've got these great video game. And even, I didn't love the Uncharted adaptation, even though I love that video game. I think this is a great match in terms of studio and property. And it'll be interesting to see where they take it. I'm excited.
Guys, question is for you. Do you think the John Campea Show has any chance of getting a Paramount sponsorship at any time in the future now? Probably not. But what do you think of them going all in on Call of Duty? I think this is a big swing. I love the passion they're bringing to it. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Marvel Zombies has dropped their first trailer. And you know what's funny? This morning I was putting the final notes together, and one of our topics today was basically, I'm paraphrasing, but one of our topics today was going to be, where the hell is the Marvel Zombies trailer? The movie's, the series literally coming out in a couple of weeks, and still no trailer, wondering if they're going to move it or not. And just as I was about to start typing out the notes that I was going to send to you guys, coming across the newswire, Marvel Zombies trailer drops and is online. All right. Look, I like the headline here in Variety saying Marvel Zombies trailer, Undead Avengers are brutally slaughtered in Marvel's first mature animated series. And I love the image they use here too, with the fist going right through his body. Yeah. Remember back when Bob Iger said Marvel will always be family friendly? Yeah, those days are gone. Those days are long gone. But at any rate, look, I'm not going to be obtuse about this. I'm not a fan of the What If series. I don't think it was worth it. I think it's rather dull. I never think about it. They had a couple episodes that I thought were pretty good that I really did quite enjoy.
And come on, Infinity Ultron was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The whole thing about that. And one of the more interesting episodes and fun episodes they did was their zombies episode.
Yeah.
I would be lying to you if I told you I have had any interest or excitement about Marvel Zombies. As a matter of fact, whenever we've even talked on this show about running down upcoming Marvel projects, I don't even count it because I just don't have any excitement for it. I have no belief in it, all that kind of stuff. But Rob, the trailer dropped this morning. And I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you I thought it was a pretty fun trailer. I did, and as this is coming from a guy who has had no interest in this, I still don't know if it's actually going to be any good or not, but I would be lying to you if I didn't admit that I thought the trailer was rather fun. When Spider-Man starts slinging around and then he uses his webs to decapitate like 40 zombies all at once, and their heads just pop off as he's swinging by. Now, here's the question I have about it, though. That's the shot. That shot just killed me when I saw it. I just thought that was awesome. But here's the question I have. Is this Marvel Zombies a continuation of that episode that we had? Because you remember it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger sort of thing with Thanos, zombie Thanos, and all that kind of stuff. Or is this going to be a new thing? The people in the live chat are saying, yeah, they think it's a continuation of the thing, which makes sense. It is kind of all in there. And by the way, was that Blade Moon Knight? Did Khonshu go out and get the Daywalker to be his champion in that? If so, that was pretty cool. I loved hearing Yelena's voice in there. I love obviously having Red Guardian in there. Listen, again, as somebody who didn't like What If, as somebody who's had no interest in this Marvel Zombie series at all, I gotta say the trailer was pretty fun. And I now, for the first time ever, have some interest in watching this. And by the way, the what was the name of the Wakanda series that was just out?
The Eyes of Wakanda.
Eyes of Wakanda, which, by the way, came and went and nobody talks about it.
No.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
I liked it.
But it came and went. Nobody talked about it. Honestly, I think overall, these Marvel animation experiments have been a big failure. X-Men 97 notwithstanding. Nobody talks about the Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man anymore. Nobody talked about Eyes of Wakanda. I don't know a lot of people that really liked What If. But I do got to say, give credit where it's due. This looks kind of fun. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to finally see the trailer for Marvel Zombies.
Yeah,
what did you think?
Okay, to be fair, I do own the omnibus, the very expensive Marvel Zombies omnibus. I did buy it. But I mean, as a one-off gimmicky thing, it's fun. But they try and have their cake and eat it too, in that some of the zombies can think about what they're doing.
Yes.
Remember
in the last one, it was zombie Wanda still knew how to cast
spells.
and
that to me, it's like you can't. So it's more like undead. So it makes sense that Khonshu would tap the Daywalker. I mean, it looks fun. I just wish, I keep thinking about the heights of Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited. Those shows were so good. And they did so much to advance the mythology and to cement home, like we were talking about Mr. Freeze earlier. That Mr. Freeze episode of Batman the Animated Series, I wanted Marvel to do that, to give us that quality. And while the What If show, I liked the fact that they were doing it, I just wish some of the shows were a little better.
Some of the episodes.
Yeah, but there was stuff that was good. And the Marvel Zombies thing was a diversion. It's just not my thing. To me, it's a gimmick that wears out very quickly. Not like the joy of G-Zilla.
It's no G-Zilla.
It's no G-Zilla. But I will watch this because I have to say, look, I love Romero's Zombieverse. Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time, the original. I'll watch this. I looked at this and I'm like, okay, it's a diversion. It's a trifle.
Yeah, no,
but I'll watch it.
I want to address this. There's a bunch of people in the live chat, understandably so, saying, oh, wait a minute, the Spider-Man series was good. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it made no impact.
Right.
Like, people don't still talk about it. It never did all that great on the ratings. It never got a huge amount of viewership. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm not arguing that at all. I'm just saying none of their stuff has really managed to make any kind of significant impact.
No, and if you think about the way that the Batman animated series was drawn,
Yeah.
But the artwork of it, the stories, that show resonated with people. And it has, even to this day, people look upon it as perhaps the greatest animated superhero series ever made. And while Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was good, it was what you'd expect. Like, you just expect a Spider-Man series at this point to be good. But it didn't, like, when you're looking at Across the Spider-Verse, that transcended, I mean, that animation, that's never going to be forgotten. The Spider-Verse movies took animation to another level.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the world that we're living in. And I like the animation style they're using for What If. I do. I just wish that they had stories that resonated more.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? Again, you're pointing out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, stuff like that. It's the stories.
Yeah.
Like, excellent animation, excellent visuals, yes, but it's the stories and the characters and the dialogue are so good, and they all feel like they have meaning. Nothing in the What If, or as good as Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was, or whatever, none of it actually means anything. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show was like baseline. Of course it's good. Like, that to me is, you would expect that should be the thing, but it doesn't, it's not transcending the way both of the Spider-Verse films transcended the animation genre and turned it into, and elevated the material and introduced Miles Morales. They're wonderful.
But I do got to say, I did have fun watching this trailer.
Yeah, I know.
And listen, and what do we always say about trailers, right? The job of a trailer, I might as well tattoo this on my arm at some point. The job of a trailer is to take your expectations, however high or low they are, and bump it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I have gone from, in the span of one morning, me personally, I've gone from having zero interest in Marvel Zombies to, like, I'm kind of looking forward to watching this now. And if the trailer did that, then it did its job.
Yeah.
So good job on them. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about this trailer for Marvel Zombies? Maybe you thought it was great. Maybe you thought it was terrible. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do that, two quick things. First, we got to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer, the great Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend.
Thank you, John. And you've given me a joyous gift today that I won't soon forget. So I expect fan art to be coming in. We want to see that G-Zilla fan art.
You know what I got to do? Do you remember that art of Ray as Chef Pleasures? Do you remember that? Matt Barnard, our friend he was the one who drew that. I got to get him on that. Maybe he can drop a G-Zilla.
G-Zilla. I can only imagine. Don't get too blasphemous.
Yeah.
But
No.
you know.
All right. Now, the other thing we got to do before we get to your questions, of course, is we're going to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at the Wednesday Wocast.
Hey guys, John here. If you're dying for the next batch of Wednesday Season 2 to drop on Netflix, then I'll let you in on a secret. The Wednesday Season 2 official Wocast is already here. Prepare to dive deeper into the mysteries of Wednesday with the ultimate companion video podcast. Join the frightfully funny Caitlin Riley, along with her producer, Thing, as she sits down with the marvelous cast and crew. Together, they'll unravel shocking twists, dissect the dynamics lurking beneath, unearth the deep Addams Family lore, and answer all of your lingering questions that simply refuse to stay buried. Guests include Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Steve Buscemi, Fred Armiston, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and of course, Jenna Ortega. With 8 delightfully dark episodes to devour, you'll be drawn deeper into the haunting halls of Nevermore Academy than ever before. But be careful, you know where curiosity often leads. The Wednesday Season 2 official Wocast is available now in audio and video on todoom.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. You've been warned.
All right, guys, it's time for us to get on to the important stuff here, which is, of course, your topics and questions. So, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
All right. First up, we got Orange Hand. George Lucas wasn't wrong that trade dispute starts wars, sorry, but it's too broad to be palatable to audiences. Imagine a rare kyber crystal or ancient Sith tomb was discovered, and the blockade was to take a salvage claim that might have gone over better.
Oh, I mean, look, we can go back and you can come up with a billion different things about what they should have done. I mean, yeah, obviously. The whole thing about starting off the first new Star Wars movie in a generation with trade dispute. Probably not. Or the dead speak without George Lucas. I mean, it's not a great track record. And yes, they should have done a billion different things with those utter gutter trash Star Wars prequels. I mean, there's just the things that went wrong with that pathetic series of garbage is legion. So sure, anything would have been better. Anyway. All right, what's next?
We got Alfie. Hey, John, as a fellow dog lover, have you heard the stories of dog adoptions increasing from shelters right after the Superman movie came out? I love that. Also, I miss Chris. Hope she's well. She's doing well.
I mean, she's running her business with her and Logan and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, we never did a story about it because it's not directly to the movies and all that kind of stuff, but that was one of the really big feel-good things that came out. For those of you who didn't know, like shortly after Superman came out, like the big dog adoption agencies reported like some insane number of percentage increases in people adopting dogs, which now how many of them kept the dogs and didn't go realize, oh my God, this is a big responsibility and then returned it. But still, that was one of the really cool, nice, heartwarming stories that came out of Superman, was that so many people then went out and adopted dogs that needed rescuing. And it was great to hear.
We got Tristan Thorpe. I did a double feature with Honey Don't and The Roses on Friday.
Nice.
The less said about Honey Don't, the better, because it truly felt like a time waster to me. But The Roses was so good. I love the ultimate message with the laughs.
You know what? I've been quite excited about seeing Honey Don't. Actually, I was thinking about running out to go see it tonight. I totally forgot that it came out this past weekend, because you've got Chris Evans, you got Aubrey Plaza. I mean, I thought it looked pretty interesting. So, but you apparently did not like it all that much. I don't know how I'll think about it. But man, The Roses is so good. I was really heartbroken to see how badly it kind of flopped. Like it only made came in 5th place on its opening weekend and only made like $7-something million on its opening weekend. And this is with one of the great, I say this without any irony or hyperbole, Olivia Colman is I think a top 3 greatest actress alive today. She just is. And I love Benedict Cumberbatch, and the movie is wonderful, but man, did it flop. But if you guys get a chance, go see The Roses. It's very, very, very funny. All right, what's next?
We got Belted Earth. Hey, John and crew, this is MJ from the San Diego movie meetup. It was an honor and pleasure to get to talk to you and Ann about my Predator Deadpool cosplays that I do.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Different Comic Cons. Thanks so much for a fun time at the movie meetup.
Oh, thank you so much for that, man. Listen, we've only done 2 of the movie meetups so far, but they have already been way beyond my expectations. I said, and I was dead serious, like, we're going to travel around and maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people who watch the John Campea Show in that area will come and watch the movie with us. And, and we'll get a chance to chat quick. And then we went to Phoenix and did the first meetup in Phoenix. And I was overwhelmed by how many people came out. And then we went to San Diego, the one MJ was at. And again, just overwhelmed how many people were there. I couldn't believe it. And of course, we've got the next leg coming up starting next week. We're going to be doing Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas, all in 4 days. So we're looking forward. So a huge thank you to you. Huge thank you to all of you guys who've come out to our movie meetup so far. And I'll look forward to meeting a lot more of you guys in the coming weeks. All right, what's next?
We got Wyatt, who says, I think Thor Love and Thunder is better than Thor The Dark World. At least Love and Thunder had Guardians for a bit and had a couple of decent jokes. Good Christian Bale performance. Dark World is just so bland and boring. No redeeming qualities for me.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it was yesterday's show. We were talking about Thor Love and Thunder, and I said, like, hey, whatever you think, like whether you thought Thor Love and Thunder was okay or whether you thought it was just terrible, we can all agree it was the worst of the Thor movies. I had forgotten about Thor The Dark World when I said that. I honestly was only thinking about the original Thor and Thor Ragnarok, which are both outrageously great. Those 2 Thor movies are fantastic. And I don't know why, I did not think about. I totally forgot about Thor: The Dark World. So let me amend my statement from yesterday. If you take out Thor: The Dark World, clearly Thor: Love and Thunder is the worst of the Thor movies. If you include Thor: Dark World, yeah, I think Thor: The Dark World was worse. I do. I think Thor: The Dark World is a bottom 2 worst MCU movies. And you're right. Thor: Love and Thunder absolutely had some very real redeeming qualities about it. There were several. Listen, there's a lot of jokes that fell flat in that movie, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that there were some jokes in Thor: Love and Thunder that I audibly and hard laughed out loud. There were definitely good qualities about it, 100%. That makes it better than Thor: The Dark World. So I just got to say, this is the thing about doing a live show. I just totally blocked out of my mind Thor: The Dark World. So you are right about that. All right, what's next?
Wade, it says, with the first trailer expecting to release literally any time now, I'm super stoked for Monster, the Ed Gein story, coming October 3rd on Netflix. I believe Charlie Hunnam is going to absolutely crush this. The things Ed Gein did are just incomprehensible. You were just talking about this.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I know I just read a story this morning about Charlie Hunnam is coming back for Monster season 4.
And you didn't realize, yeah.
With the, who did we say it was about again?
Ed Gaines.
No.
Oh, this is season 3.
Yeah, season 4.
Oh,
it's
shoot.
Based on a girl. Lizzie Borden, was that it? Yeah, I think it was the Lizzie Borden is going to be season 4. They just announced. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I haven't seen a single.
You're right.
I know nothing. I'd never even heard of this season 3. I didn't even know they did a season 2 of it. I've never seen a single episode of it. I do love me Charlie Hunnam. Jax from one of my all-time favorite TV shows, Sons of Anarchy, right here. By the way, you guys always see the Son of Anarchy cut. This Sons of Anarchy thing was actually on set of the show. And it was, you can barely see it there. You might be able to see a couple of scribbles, but all the main cast have autographed this Sons of Anarchy cut that I've got back here. It's one of my all-time favorite TV shows, but I had no idea there was a season 2. I had no idea there was a season 3 until this morning. I had no idea there was a season 4. So I really don't know much about it, to be honest.
And this whole time I thought the Monster series was a documentary, like a docu-series. I didn't realize it was like a recreation with actors.
It was a dramatization.
Right. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Indian Cable Guy. Such an honor to meet you, Mr. Campea. I begin my day with a cup of coffee in the John Campea Show. I recommend I kind of do the same. I recommend all of my peers to watch the Campea Out of the Theater reviews. Before buying a movie ticket, your reviews aren't cookie cutter. They're precise, no sugarcoat. Thank you so much.
Oh, I thank you for that very much. It's funny that you say that because I do keep them so short. I try to keep them to about a minute. Right, because it's supposed to be just a quick out of theater reaction to it, right? Just here's my quick thoughts, and I just kind of give it's always been crazy to me how many people watch those, like how many views those get. Even like for movies, like I even think my Nobody 2 one, which nobody went to go see. Nobody went to go see Nobody 2, which is too bad because it's really kind of a fun movie. But I had like a crazy amount of people watch it, even for a movie that didn't even get many people to go to see it. Anyway, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that very much. It's very kind. All right, what's next?
All right. I'm not gonna read all these because it's a long review. But I'll just read like the couple and get. Samir says my thoughts on weapons. The compartmentalized structure was interesting, but also limiting. Each chapter was well executed and advanced the story, yet the heart lay with Garner and Brolin, which I think a lot of people would agree, who were most tied to the missing children. Overall, Krager said he wrote the script blind as he went, and it shows. The film needed more revision in both structure and reveal. I like this movie, but it fell short of its full potential, he feels.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I thought the chapter, I'm not always a big fan of the chapter, now we're going to tell this part from a different person's perspective. I'm not always a fan of that, to be honest with you. A good example of it really not working for me was the Ridley Scott film, The Last Duel, with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the approach, the format of that worked particularly well. By the time they got to the third perspective in that movie, I was just ready to check out, which is too bad because I loved everybody in the movie. But with weapons, I thought it worked very well. Yeah, the heart and the soul were, Silver Surfer and Thanos. Yeah, those two were the heart and the soul for sure. But I mean, every time they jumped to a different perspective, it gave a new thing to it that just really made me appreciate something we had already seen, or made me go, oh my God, about something that had come a little bit earlier. So yeah, I mean, again, it's all subjective, of course. I'm not right and you're not wrong. I'm just saying, me personally, I kind of disagree with you on that, because even though I don't always like that mechanism in the storytelling, I thought it worked exceedingly well in Weapons, at least for me personally. All right, what's next?
We got Hijiro says, hey, John, with Demon Slayer and The Long Walk opening in the same weekend, what's your prediction of who wins the box office weekend that week?
Oh, I give zero shits about Demon Slayer. I really don't care. Now, as far as how many people go to see it, I don't know. It could be $200 million worth of people. It could be $2 worth of people. I honestly don't know. The more important answer is I don't care. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't care. If you are into that stuff and you like it, awesome. That's great. But I care so little about it that I have nothing on my radar about whether it's going to have a $200 million weekend or a $2 million weekend. So I really can't make any prediction, because I don't know, nor do I care about how many people follow it or how many people watch it. Again, it could be massively huge. It could be massive, or it could flop. I mean, I really don't know, but again, I really don't care. Again, I'm not saying nobody else should care. I'm not saying anything bad about the property. I'm just saying, for me, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. So I really don't know anything about it. All right, what's next?
Aho Martinez says, in this recent Man of Steel versus Superman box office video, Dan Murrell broke down the numbers and explained how Superman of 2025 hasn't broken even yet, and that it's in fact currently at a $77.8
No, well,
million loss.
he's wrong. He's wrong. I've actually spoken to the people at Warner Brothers. I know exactly what their break-even number was, and they passed breaking even a long time ago.
And I wonder too if he even takes into account all the licensing deals that took place, because they made a lot of money on marketing.
To be fair, I don't think you should take licensing deals into consideration. I think when you're breaking down, I mean, yes, licensing deals will be the difference for some movies about movies that made money or didn't. I think you should just talk about it in terms of the pure box office and pure numbers of the people who went back. Now, listen, Dan Murrell is completely brilliant. He's amazing and he's brilliant and he absolutely knows his stuff. But I happen to know for a fact that, and most people do, that this was a movie that passed its break-even point a long time ago. As James Gunn said, if we had made a movie as our first movie in this thing, especially with a franchise that their movies only started making about $200 million a piece by the time the DCEU ended, said if we made a movie that would have required $600 million just to break even, we would have been fools. And he's right about that. Anyway, what's next?
We got Raymond. I would be glad if you and Ann would visit San Francisco in your van, but there's an article recently in the San Francisco Chronicle that 24/7 2-hour parking limit on large vehicles in the city. It's meant to deter homeless living in RVs. There are RV parks in the city.
Yeah, but that, like, you can, if you have, and by the way, I don't drive a motorhome. I drive a van.
Right.
It is inside an RV, but it is on its outside, it is a Dodge Ram ProMaster 3500. That's just what it is. And by the way, that I would never park it on a city street. I would, like, if I was going to park it. Now, what I will do in a lot of these cities is like what I did in San Diego. We go to San Diego and we went to an RV park, and then I took an Uber from there. I took an Uber into the movie theater that I went to go see it in. But what I did in Phoenix was we went to a movie theater that was in a big mall with a big outdoor parking lot, and we just park in the parking lot because my van fits in a regular parking spot. So, and by the way, keep your guys' eyes open, because I may be coming to San Francisco a lot sooner than you think. It may be very soon. I'll keep you guys updated as we go. All right, what's next?
We got Geeky Vagabond. Been years since I sent a super chat, so I wanted to say hi. Your life advice helped me start my dream of living and teaching abroad, so I owe you a lot. Just moved from China to Chile. By the way,
wow, that's a big move.
Yep. By the way, Santiago has a great Star Wars restaurant called Nawa's Cantina.
That's cool. You know what? there's not a lot of, I've always been fascinated with South America, but there's never been a lot of South American countries. There's not been a lot of countries in the world that I've always thought, oh, I'd love to visit there. Like, obviously, because I'm Italian, I'd love to visit Italy. I've wanted to go to England, but there's not a lot of countries I'm not a global travel bug, right? I don't have the global travel bug. Maybe I should, but I don't. But Chile has always been a country I've always been fascinated with, and I would love to visit sometime. Anyway, thank you for the kind note, man. I appreciate it very much. All right. By the way, I'm having people, I didn't see the video people were talking about, but people in the live chat are saying, hold on, Dan did not say that Superman 2025 was not profitable. That is not true. So I haven't seen the video myself, but anyway, it's interesting other people are giving their perspective. All right, what's next?
Guzman, my 80s cult movie reboot would be a Weekend at Bernie's, but make it two influencers trying to hide the death of a tyrannical king in a small backwards country. Seth Rogen and Dave Franco as the influencers, Alec Baldwin as the king. But I know that, Seth really is not associated with James Franco in a long time, and I get they're two separate people, two separate lives. But would it be awkward for him to do something with Dave, his younger brother?
The studio. He just had Dave Franco with him in the studio for a number of episodes.
Why do I not remember that?
He's the one when they're at CinemaCon. He's the one
that's
that
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so funny that you mentioned Weekend at Bernie's, because just yesterday for Labor Day, we had a bunch of friends and some family over to the house here all day. We barbecued and stuff like that. And because Anne's sister Olive is actually in one of the episodes of the studio, even though she's never seen any of the episodes, Anne's sister is in one of the episodes. And so we had a couple of our friends who hadn't seen any of the studio yet. So we started by putting on Olive's episode. And then we watched a couple more episodes, and we got all the way to the CinemaCon episodes with Dave Franco, and they were Weekend at Bernieing Bryan Cranston. And talking about Weekend at Bernie's. So it's so kind of funny that we were just rewatching that yesterday, and now you bring up Weekend at Bernie's again. That's funny. But I brought up the same thing the first time I saw that episode, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. I brought up the same question to Anna. It's like, I wonder if it's weird that Seth now totally has this great relationship and hangs out with Dave Franco when he's his longtime best friend that he's no longer friends with James Franco. Yeah. I wonder if that's weird. All right. What's next?
We got Dan V with the convo about Supergirl making as much as Superman, if not more. I don't see it. Competition is too fierce. Toy Story 5 is the week before. Minions 3 is the week after. Moana 2 weeks later, and Odyssey 3 2 weeks later, and Odyssey 3 weeks later. All though those are bigger films. 3 of those are counter programmed though.
Yeah, but also over the past couple of years, I've just come to realize competition doesn't hurt. If people are interested in a movie, they're going to go see that movie.
There's competition for like the premium screens.
Yeah. Like who gets the IMAX screen, who gets
Dolby,
100%,
whatever.
100%. And you don't want to release 2 massive movies on the same day, although Barbenheimer even showed you could do that if you're properly counter-programmed.
Right.
But I think really being surrounded by other big movies can only help you if those movies are good. I have come to really recognize that it's a truism in film fandom that when people go to a movie, if they have a good time, they are more likely to go back again soon. It's true with a lot of things. Like Ann and I haven't been bowling in a couple of years. We went bowling for Ray's birthday like 2 weeks ago.
I'm awful at bowling. Yeah.
I'm terrible. Oh, I suck. I'm absolutely awful at it. But we all had a really good time. And so we scheduled our next bowling night because we went and we had a good time. So we want to go back. And it's kind of been shown that for movies too. If there's a big movie out and people like it and had fun with it, they are more likely to come back. And so, look, it is questionable if Supergirl can make as much money as Superman. 100% it is. But I don't think it's questionable because there's competition around it. I really don't think that affects it very much, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
Dan V says, Warner Brothers moving Mortal Kombat 2 to May instead of Supergirl up to Doomsday's original spot is baffling to me. Supergirl would have been the big film for 3 weeks until Mandalorian and Grogu. Then I could see it possibly making as much as Superman. Don't get WB's thought process.
Well, I mean, WB's thought process on moving Mortal Kombat was stupid. I mean, it just is. It's stupid. A company that does a lot of really smart things, I got to call it out when I see it. This was a dumb move. But again, that being said, I really don't think it's going to impact. Like, look, guys, the reality is a movie ticket costs less than some combo meals you can get at McDonald's. Now, if you go all out and you go and you get 2 or 3 popcorns for everybody, a couple of drinks, some candies, I mean, that starts adding up. It can start to become an expensive night. But as far as just getting a ticket for it goes, I've literally gone into Carl's Jr. and seen like the combo deals that are literally more expensive than a movie ticket. If people are interested in Mandalorian and Grogu and they're interested in Supergirl, and that's a big if, but if they're interested in both, most people, not all, but most people don't have to make a decision or make a choice between the two of them, right? Most people, not all, if they're interested in Mandalorian and Grogu and they're interested in Supergirl, they're going to go see both. I just think it's been shown that the competition doesn't really hurt it that much. Again, you don't want to open Supergirl on the same day you open Mandalorian and Grogu, but other than that, I think the data over the past couple of years has shown that it really doesn't have that much of a negative impact to be surrounded by other, hopefully popular movies. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We got seconds from Disaster. Do you think the fact that Shang-Chi and Mahershala Ali's Blade are in the new Zombies trailer a sign of good faith for the future of both the characters in the MCU? I don't think it matters.
I don't think, by the way, I did not see Mahershala Ali's name listed in the credits.
Maybe that was him, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying at the end, like they did a big highlight moment showing Blade having this big fight and blah, blah, blah. But then at the end of the trailer, when they list off all the people in it, maybe I missed something, but I was looking for Mahershala Ali's name and I didn't see his name in that credit list. So with Shang-Chi, we know he's coming back soon. Like we already know he's coming, and I'm not saying it means anything that Mahershala Ali's name isn't in that credits list. That doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to see him as Blade anymore. I'm just saying you can't say it's a good faith thing when he's not involved in it. So yeah, I'll just kind of leave it at that. All right, what's next?
Orlando says, if Netflix releases a movie in theaters, yes, it's free money. It won't make a bit if it is a bigger release on Netflix because it won't make them 1 cent. No matter if it's number one and no one watches. If it comes out in theaters, people won't need Netflix.
Oh, no.
They'll still want it.
You're 100% wrong about that. Because here's where it matters. The biggest, most important data point. We've talked about this before. The single most important data point to every streamer. The first thing they look at when they open up their data analytics is not how many people watched this. That's not the first thing they look at. The first thing they look at is how many new subscriptions did this generate? And by putting Glass Onion in theaters first, and if people go and they like it and the marketing that goes behind the theatrical push and all that kind of stuff, they are going to get new subscribers too. And they're going to get a bunch of viewers, and they're going to enjoy the benefit of the people who watch it, who are on the ad-supported tier and all that kind of stuff. But the main thing is the biggest, juiciest data point analytic that they look for is, did this property generate new subscriptions? By having a theatrical release for it, it exponentially increases the amount of people who will then go and, if they're not Netflix subscribers already, they will go and sign up for Netflix because this movie was there. It's a proven data point. It's not an opinion at this point. It is a statistical fact. So that's going to be the big sexy draw for them at any rate. All right. What's next?
That was actually that was our final tip.
All right, guys. Well, then that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Of course, a big thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.